Yeah. You ready? Hey. Let's go. Bet. I'm at my prime.
That whole thing's gonna be in the podcast.
No, I can edit stuff out.
Sorry, my paisans are getting wrapped up into your cord over there. So I actually
Welcome to another episode of the Prime Podcast, sponsored by Stride Coffee.
we got our typical orders here as per usual. Me and Aunt classically going with the pistachio ice latte.
Well, this is not.
Is it
ice.
that
Hot
classic?
latte.
You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny that it's not, because I went. Where did I go recently? And I was like, "Do you guys have pistachio lattes?" They're like,
No.
"Huh?" I think it's pistachio is like exclusively a Utica thing, like tomato pie.
Pistachios.
Have you ever gotten a
Utica.
pistachio latte anywhere other than Utica?
I feel like
Where?
When I was in just in Florida.
Really?
Really?
I've never gotten a pistachio latte anywhere but Utica.
now I'm thinking over things. I don't think I have.
Yeah, it's only like pumpkin or vanilla or like real basic bee stuff.
Pumpkin's basic.
Pumpkin's super basic.
You're basic.
Pumpkin is not basic. Like pumpkin flavored things in the fall are not basic.
Yeah, but they have that
That's
everywhere.
seasonal.
Exactly.
It's seasonal.
Oh, that was the point that was being made. Okay.
All right.
All right. Meanwhile, back on the ranch.
All right. Well, let's just recap last week's bet really quick. Who do we think was the closest?
Me.
Well, technically, I
Me.
gave her those.
Me.
I gave her
Me.
those suggestions
Me.
of dumbbell snatch and burpees as an option.
But I didn't say that.
But
I said dumbbell thruster.
either way, that's wrong.
So I
Dumbbell
would.
snatch and burpees would be closer than
All right.
dumbbell
I said
thrusters.
15 minutes. It was a 15-minute AMRAP.
I also said 15
Very
minutes.
true.
I think you
No,
said
you didn't.
25 minutes.
It felt like 25 minutes.
Okay.
So basically, Rye was the close. I probably got second place
Should even give a suggestion.
and got last place.
I win because I'm the only one who actually gave a suggestion.
Lies.
PEMDAS last place. Rye and I first place.
Yup.
There is
Put it on the board.
video
Last.
and
Last.
audio evidence of this that nobody actually
You know that
gave
old
suggestions.
saying? First is the worst, second is the best.
If you're not first, you're last.
Actually, those conflict.
Third is the one with the hairy chest.
Don't worry about it.
This
If you
makes
ain't
no
first,
sense.
you're last. So Rye won. Thank you. Moving on. Today's topics, we're gonna kind of just general fitness, health topic questions today. Just perusing all of our thoughts on things. First up, perusing. First up,
Can you use that in a sentence?
we are about to peruse these questions, and you guys are gonna answer them.
She quite literally put it in a sentence.
I don't know if that's the right way to use it, but that's okay.
Where's the almanac? What?
The almanac.
To like look the word up.
Is that an almanac? Like a dictionary?
Yes, dictionary, almanac.
No, I don't do the same thing.
Oh my God.
An almanac is like, I don't know, like looking up statistics and things like that. Is it not? Like it's.
I don't know. An annual calendar containing important dates and statistical information.
Yeah.
Almanac these questions. Okay, well,
That's a new one. Look it up in the almanac.
look it up,
Like the
baby.
farmer's almanac. Like,
Yeah. It was, I know what you're saying.
You picked up what I put down.
Yeah.
Okay.
She understood what you were saying so well that she got out of her chair laughing hysterically.
She knows what I meant. All right. How does training in the gym translate to daily movements that we do and just longevity?
So we're going right into it then.
I just said we're going to almanac these questions.
All right.
So let's get, well, I mean, I feel like we didn't just get right into it because we did have quite the chuckle there for a minute.
All right. And how does daily activities transfer over to daily life? Or
Yeah.
gym activities transfer over to daily life?
Yeah.
I think for the most part, you can kind of make an argument that they, like a deadlift is like picking up furniture or moving things around your house or squatting. Really doesn't really have a lot of, I guess, transferability to day to day, unless like you're sitting on a toilet, I guess. But most of honestly, if you're really thinking about it, like you can kind of make arguments for movements in the gym carrying over to daily activities. You also make arguments that they don't have any, they're actually not as functional to your daily activities as you would think. Some things that might be similar are pushing a sled or, maybe stepping up, certain exercises like that. But I think that when we really look at our daily activities nowadays in our society, limiting, different things, that we don't really do a lot of the activities in the gym that carry over to our daily activity. We're not climbing, so pull-ups are, we do a lot of stuff in the gym, I think, to strengthen our body in different capacities, maybe to prepare for things, but I don't think we're doing enough stuff outside of the gym to actually prepare ourselves to do anything because we're not doing those things.
So you don't clean and jerk your baby?
Not particularly, no.
Okay. Anything before I move on?
I don't know.
Good.
That's the other person right there.
All right, Rye, I'll hit you with this next question.
She has to answer that question first, doesn't she?
Everyone's yelling.
No, Rye, here we go.
Wow.
What
Off the hook.
are tips for making fitness a priority despite a packed schedule?
Pencil it in. I mean, some of my clients, I'll shout her out, Patty. Fitness wasn't a priority for her, and when she put it first and she scheduled her day around coming here, it changed everything because that was her time, that's her hour. She knew that if she didn't do it, it would kind of mess with her day. So instead of making it not a priority where like, maybe I'll get to the gym, she said, no, I'm getting to the gym, and then everything else kind of went around it.
So just like forcing yourself, like making everything around going to the gym. You have any tips?
I think similar to that, and I think if you have children or if you have other obligations, doing things first thing in the morning is always going to be the easiest solution. I know a lot of people make excuses why they're not morning people, they don't do this, they don't do that. Everyone makes excuses for not coming in the morning. But if you let the day kind of happen to you and you have kids and you have other obligations after work, the likelihood of you coming after work when you're tired, fatigued, and you got to run errands and be an Uber driver for your kids is a lot less likely than waking up an hour earlier and going to the gym. And like kind of like Riley said, prioritizing that over everything else. And then after a while, you become a morning person. Like the people who have traditionally been the most consistent people, and the largest class that we've always had in this gym has been our first class of the day, which is our 5:15. Those people are the most consistent from month to month. They have the most longevity in terms of retention in our gym. And they also make the most progress because they are the most consistent. So I think if you prioritize it or, flip it so you switch it so you can come, you make it a time that you can come. Patty doesn't have as many personal obligations, so she can prioritize that at different times of the day that work for her. And there's other clients that might not be able to, so you want to be able to find a time that you can consistently do. And I would also try to argue that you should probably do it every day. Like I think the people who come to 5:15 one day and then 9:30 another day and then 4:30 another day, I think that chaos kind of schedule makes it more difficult and easier to fall off of than being like, hey, I'm setting my clock for 4:45 every morning. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna go to the gym whether I want to or not, over and over and over again.
Well, I think too, it's about finding something you really like. So if you really like this, you like coming here and seeing the people and working out next to the people in the class with you, it makes it a little easier to make it a priority because you're excited to do that thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, for sure. For me, I'm kind of what you just said, like it's harder right now just because I obviously am here a lot, but then also being at the school still and coaching. So I'm kind of all over the place sometimes with things. So I do have to have a little bit of a calendar going, and I'll plan out my week all in advance. Like, oh, I'm not going in on a Friday, so I can do 9:30 that day, but I have to do 6:15 on Tuesday, Thursday, and I can go to 3:30 on Monday and Wednesday, or like being able to plan it out in advance instead of just deciding the day of like, oh, I'm going to get there when I get there. Next up, guys. How to train sustainably without overdoing it. So how we just kind of talked about scheduling, how are we doing it, but continuously having fun, not overdoing it, and keeping the gym enjoyable?
For myself, during the week, I try not to go really max effort with anything. I like to save it. Saturdays are kind of our fun days here where I can push it. So not having every day be 100%, whether it's the lifting, the conditioning, finding a sweet spot where I can push myself, but not push myself to the limit entirely. That way, when I do want to push it past my limit, I can do that.
Yeah, and I think the way in which we design the program has a natural ebb and flow to it, that it is designed for people to come every day. So, when we do, and, some of it is back in a system from like an old school track coach where he has what they call high-low days. And it's like, how much does it challenge your central nervous system? So the more something challenges your central nervous system, it creates more stress response and it kind of fatigues you more. And it's been found that, heavier lower body exercises have a tendency to do that more than upper body exercises. So in how we design our workouts, maybe Monday, Thursday are like really heavy, more challenging days with heavier lower body lifts, more challenging conditioning sections. And then our Tuesdays and Fridays might be a little bit lighter. Maybe there's some technical work that maybe challenges you in a different way, but not challenging you with weight. And then our Wednesdays are a natural active recovery day to allow for that. And then also to piggyback off of what Riley's saying, if you kind of got to feel your body out a little bit. And if you feel like it's overly fatigued, it's still good to move, but maybe you don't push the weight as heavy today, or maybe you don't go as hard in the conditioning, or you just work on some other aspect of that thing. There's always things to work on inside of the gym if you want to get better at certain skills. Maybe it's a jumping rope, or getting better at your rowing efficiency or deadlift technique. So there's always some opportunities where I can reel back the intensity or the weight a little bit and then focus on a technical aspect of it that will still allow me to make progress and make improvements in the gym, but they may not be with weight on the bar or different other aspects of fitness.
Yeah, I think the way that you guys program it, there are so many of our athletes here every single week that have come up to me before and been like, oh, it gets better every single day, or like it's just as challenging or as whatever as it was yesterday. They enjoy like the way that you guys set up our workouts, and they look forward to coming every day because it's always something different, something new. Especially I feel like lately you guys have done a really, really very good job.
Thanks.
Don't put me into the you guys. That's all, Aunt.
Great job, Aunt.
Riley
proud
does
of
it
you.
all. I don't do any of it.
Great job, Rye. Proud of you.
Do you just want an eye roll on camera? Is that why you said that?
Yeah, so I could zoom in on it.
But yeah, I feel like people are constantly coming up to me and being like, gets better every day.
That's programming.
Got him.
Inside joke, maybe. Maybe not so
okay.
inside.
It's an ABC joke, or what is that
That'd
thing?
be an A-B joke.
No.
See your way out of it.
Yeah.
Got him.
I can't laugh. I have like Fran lung. Still.
Well, that's why happens when you do 2 open workouts in a span of 3 hours.
Okay.
You got some chapped lips.
Okay, let's move on.
Maybe we'll zoom in on those in the post production.
Goodbye. She'll be back with her Aquaphor momentarily.
We were taking a momentarily break for a commercial while Riley Vaselines her lips up.
Sorry, I was just staring at those gator bites. Those snakeskin Tacovas. I had to tell you. We'll just
Moving on
to our next question.
Do you want a little ASMR?
Yes. Well, that kind of sounded nice.
Speaking of, when we do our clap, we got to do it into a microphone. Apparently, at
We
the
did.
end. No, we didn't. There was-
We just, okay.
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. So it's loud. So we have
Is this
a good.
better?
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
do it
much
like
so.
Charlotte did the other day. Charlotte came into the office and she
Here, look, you can still see. where she put her finger
Yeah.
in the thing. She literally
Well,
went,
our 2-year-old
dug it out.
dug a whole scoop of Vaseline and she started putting it on her lips. She's like, Daddy lips, Riley lips.
Because she probably had like a wad of it on her little finger.
Yeah.
is this better? It's all over my face.
Yes. I'm a big fan of putting Vaseline and Aquaphor on my face. Did you know it helps the cold weather too?
Chap lips, chap skin.
Yes, and
Yeah,
it's
it creates a barrier between your skin and the.
yeah, it helps like
elements.
the when they're
Okay,
you're like
skincare queen.
he is.
Well, you're just lathering yourself
When
with
you get
oil.
like
All right, moving on.
wind blowing at you and stuff, it's supposed to help like you not get so cold and windburn. Okay.
So is it insulator too?
Vaseline can do anything. Okay. Basically, now we're going to go on to why focusing on strength and performance leads to better results than chasing weight loss.
Just the way that the questions are worded are kind of funny. Our strength and performance is better than weight loss. Well, because they're Chat GPT and they're like,
I very much so came up with these myself without using
it
ChatGPT.
says Chat GPT on the top of your screen.
It says notes on my phone.
And Chat GPT talks like a robot, so it's just funny. So how strength and performance is better than weight loss? So I think for many folks that when they overly focus on weight loss or the scale or body fat percentage, they kind of set themselves up for, some negative outcomes. Because what you end up doing is you end up overly kind of focusing on consumption or, everything has to do with, how many calories do I burn on my watch, how much this, how much that. And it turns into, this negative cycle of, like burning off something or only eating food for certain things, or I ate poorly last night, so I got to exercise harder or different things like that. And I think the weight loss part of it would come in body composition stuff would come naturally if you just focused on your strength and performance, as you said in the question. So if I focus on getting stronger, I focus on moving better or getting better at some sort of aspect of fitness, I think sometimes the body composition stuff will eventually follow. I think the problem that people run into is that they focus so much on their in-gym performances, like their strength and performance and things like that, but they don't focus on any of the outside aspects that would not only improve their body composition, but also improve their strength and performance. So like having a better diet, maybe eating more whole nutritious foods, more protein, less drinking on the weekends, less, processed foods, more sleep, less stress, all that kind of stuff would actually have a double kind of like whammy effect where it would improve your strength and performance in the gym because you're more well rested, you're more well fed, you have more nutrients in your body to provide energy. And, in addition, by doing that stuff, the body composition would easily follow. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, Rye, I think I'm going to ask you this next one because I think we talked about this a little while ago and you had some good words about it. But when you kind of find that like plateau of like you're not going up anymore, like
Speaking of words that people say funny, the plateau is another new one.
of me,
Yeah.
plateau. How did you just say it?
Well, I said it like you said it because it's not how you say it. Plateau.
Plateau? Like, how are you supposed to say it?
It's a plateau.
plateau.
No.
You're putting like a French accent on it.
Maybe you
Like
are
a
from Boston.
chateau.
No, I don't.
It's a plateau.
I think it's a Lake George thing. I think it's from. I have like I don't know.
All right, ask me the question.
Anyways, just like kind of mindset shifts to keep pushing when you kind of find that like you're not going up anywhere. Like maybe it's the weight loss thing. Maybe it's like better strength performance wise. You're not getting any faster. You're just kind of plateauing. What are some ways that you think just to kind of keep pushing forward, I guess?
I mean, we all have good days. We have bad days. There's good weeks, bad weeks, good months, bad months. Just sticking to it. Even when the days that you don't want to do it, just show up for yourself and you'll be happier after you do that. Like some people come in, they're like, I really don't want to be here today. And I say, we're here already, so you might as well make the most of it. And just listen to the music, talk to people. I don't know. I need to think a second.
So when you think about plateaus, they happen for a couple of different reasons. So initially, when people come into the gym, no matter who they are, if they've never trained before, they make a lot of progress really fast. It's called the novice effect. So many people will come into the gym who've never lifted weights, and they start making these enormous gains or progress really fast. And then things level off. So there's a certain point for all of us where, in order to get better, after that leveling off stage, we have to make another change to our routine, to our diet, to our sleep, to all those different things to move the needle a little bit further along. So as you get there, so it might be a change in the intensity of how you work out. It may be a change in the weights you do. It may be a change in the structure. Maybe you come 3 times a week, and now you've kind of leveled off after a couple months. Now you might have to go more times a week. Okay, maybe you kind of do a certain, like we talked about it with the open workout a little bit. Maybe we kind of only do like a 35-pound dumbbell for a lot of the workouts, and you don't find yourself making progress. Maybe it's time to go up to the 40 or 45-pound dumbbell. Maybe you haven't really put your nutrition in check, and you kind of like leveled off to a certain thing, like we just talked about the last question. Maybe now I take a deeper look into my nutrition. Maybe, my sleep has been off, or I have a newborn at home and I'm not getting good quality sleep. Maybe now I can try to find ways to get better quality sleep, and it might show progress in the gym. So all of these things kind of are interrelated, and the leveling off can happen for so many different reasons that it's hard to pinpoint one specific thing. But if you just look at some of the really basic progression things that we think about in terms of, reps, sets, weight, intensity, in terms of working out, then you have all the other things, the other 23 hours of your day. Like, what things are you doing there? Can you change to help overcome some of the plateaus or leveling off you might see in the gym?
Did you think of anything else you wanted to add?
A little bit.
I kind of said that a little rudely. I didn't mean for it to come out like that.
Sorry, you don't think I'm interesting enough. I thought I knew what I was going to say.
I've distracted you now.
You did. A shift in mindset. For me personally, I was in a place where I said I need to do these things instead of I get to do these things, and having a more positive self-talk. Did you teach me that? Instead of being so negative, encouraging myself and speaking to myself more positively.
Yeah, that's something I also struggle with. I think that's good advice.
Yeah, I think the biggest critic in all of us is inside of our own heads. It's not the people outside. I mean, some of us have some critics and haters on the outside, but I think the way that we speak to ourselves is always going to be far worse than how other people will speak to us or about us.
I got one more topic question here to wrap us up, and then I have a bunch of fan questions that were sent in to me this week from
Big
some
time fans.
huge fans. And I've been requested to bring this segment every week because they would like new questions every week. What is the importance of stretching, recovery, and movement quality in our workouts?
What was the segment? Stretching?
Stretching, recovery, and
recovery.
movement quality.
You want to go, Stretch Queen?
You guys can rock, paper, scissors for it if you want.
Stretch queen. I never, ever.
20 to 30 minutes every day, you
But
said?
I never used to stretch, ever.
Yeah. So that's why I said, did you want to
Okay.
take it, Stretch Queen?
So this year I have taking care of myself more seriously.
Yep.
So every day for 20 to 30 minutes, I sit and I stretch and I work on mobility because
While listening to sad country music.
That is very true.
Okay. Well, we all like what we like. Eric came in the gym the other day And he goes, I got a question. How do you listen to this when you work out?
You just do. I'm here for it too.
do.
I get into it.
Megan Maroney coming up fast.
Well, I don't know. I get to sit and relax for 20 minutes because I don't get to do that a lot. So I've been letting myself just relax and stretch for 20 minutes every day since the start of the new year. And I feel better. And I think that it helps me, I would say, in my day-to-day life.
Well, that's why I wanted you to answer it.
Oh, well.
I think we could all definitely stretch more.
Because when I do prioritize it, and mostly in the summer when I do have a little bit more free time, spending the 10 minutes or so working on, I really have like a 10-minute sequence of 3 stretches, like the couch stretch, frog stretch, and pigeon pose. Like when I consistently do that for 10 minutes every day, like I don't usually have any hip or low back pain if I can spend the 10 minutes every day doing those 3 things. So it does.
But those 3 things you can do at home. Like how many people are sitting at home watching TV for even 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Take 10 minutes while you're watching your show and do it.
Talking to me?
No, just
Just
it's
advice
just like
for everybody.
advice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's something like people come in here like, oh, I should stretch more. You're sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
So
It's literally called the couch stretch.
Yeah. Or
Literally.
even like I see these like reels sometimes on Instagram and it'll be like even while you're washing the dishes, like there's literally little stretches that you can do, like doing just house chores and when you're not even thinking about it.
sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah. No, I agree. There's different stretches that you can do at home and on a free time while you're watching TV or doing different things. I don't know about doing dishes, but I don't know what I would do if I'm doing dishes. Maybe like,
Just like putting
this.
Yeah, like
oh
that.
yeah, like tree pose.
There, I saw like the stretching your calf and like putting your like foot up on if you have some sort of cabinet or something.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Like there, it was just like little things that you can do while you do stuff.
And I think the out of the 3 things, the biggest one for me is the movement quality part of it. And I think this is where folks who struggle or are in pain the most, or are one, they're not flexible in some capacity, but also they move poorly. You know, so I think your movement quality will play a bigger role in how you feel, how flexible you are, and all that sort of stuff. You know, like if you, I don't know if we talked about it last week, but if you squat and you don't challenge yourself to do the movement correctly or go low in your squat, then you're limiting, you know, the flexibility of your hips. So I know sometimes people chase that strength and performance. What? So funny.
I just went like that.
Oh. So you limit, one, your mobility and flexibility in your hips and your ankles and your knees and all that sort of stuff if you're limiting your range of motion. But then you're also limiting your overall performance because you're only going to gain, you know, like get stronger in that quarter squat. So if you're improving your movement quality and not really focusing on necessarily the weight on the bar or, you know, like overly focused on the performance, like we talked about before, not overly focusing on calories or things like that and body composition, then I think overall you're going to end up in a better place. You know, because it, you know, when you're doing every exercise, it shouldn't hurt your lower back. You know, like if you're doing an overhead press, it shouldn't tweak your lower back. If you're doing a deadlift, it shouldn't tweak your lower back, a squat. But, you know, like if you do every exercise in the gym and you feel like low back pain because you just don't move well, or, you know, like you have it so on edge all the time, like your lower back is so like on a high alert that everything irritates it, then taking a step back with the weight and focusing on movement quality is going to help that kind of calm down. But also when you try to go back and improve your weights, it's going to help the movement quality aspect of it and your flexibility and your pain and your recovery and all the other things that are related to it.
You guys ready to move into some fan questions here?
Moving right in.
Unless you have anything else you'd like to add on our
I don't
little
have
topics
anything.
today. I feel like that was a good little spiel.
Yeah.
We covered some good things today. Thanks to ChatGPT, Aunt GPT, aka my notes on my phone that I made these questions up myself. This one is
AKA, we're going to zoom into your phone later on the camera.
from God. This one we have from Buzz Teasdale. Why is Natasha Bedingfield only played once every other week?
Buzz said that?
Yeah.
Like
I don't even know what song Natasha Bedingfield sings. First of all,
Whoa.
Whoa.
I'm
That's
I'm actually never coach when Buzz is in class, so whoever's in charge of the radio during that time should answer
the
that question.
radio.
I think it's you.
It usually is me, but it is on my Meg playlist. For you, only you can let it in. No one else, no one else. Shout out Buzz, that was for you, buddy. I'll do a better job. I did add, after you sent this question in, I did add Pocket Full of Sunshine as well to my playlist.
Good one.
So hopefully those will come up for you during class. Also, I didn't know this, but she sings that these words are my, so all
That's also on the Prime Movement playlist.
so they're all on there now. So hopefully it'll be coming around more for you. This one is sent in from Steve Cow. He wants to know how much protein he should be eating.
How much protein should he be eating?
190 grams.
190 grams. That's probably a little high for Steve Cow.
170.
So depending on how much you weigh, you roughly want to have 0.8 or 80% of your weight to 100% of your weight in grams of protein. So if you weigh 150 pounds, that should be like 130 to 150 pounds. If you're 200 pounds, that's roughly 160 to 200 grams of protein per day.
Addie here, one of our other coaches in the gym, sent in
Oh, man.
a 3-way. So he sent in one for me, one for Riley, and one for Aunt.
Oh, wow.
So this first one I have for Riley here. To Riley from Adam, he wrote, besides Steve, what else motivates you to stay so consistent with training?
It says besides Steve, really?
Yeah. Besides Steve. Oh, wait, it was right here. Besides Steve.
What motivates me?
To stay consistent with your training, besides Steve.
I wasn't a big goal person, but lately I've set some goals for myself. So that's helped me stay consistent.
How do you keep yourself accountable?
By getting mad at myself when I don't do the things that I think I should do.
So you're a pretty self-accountable person where like you can keep
For the
yourself
most
in
part.
check. Steve's her husband, by the way, for our followers who don't know. So everyone's just cracking jokes in here. This one.
Jokes.
To Meg from Adam. How does coaching at Prime help you be a better field hockey? That's just all he left it there, didn't it?
Just
Say
field
coach.
hockey.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of like you last week. Didn't finish your whole question.
That was so
Close enough.
embarrassing. When I rewatched it last week, it sounded so illiterate. I felt really upset
I
about
wonder,
myself.
does he know, is he trying to ask you how does it help you be a better field hockey coach or how
I
to be
think so.
better at field hockey?
No, coach.
Yeah, I think coach. I think one of my strengths is being better or is being pretty good at like what's it called? Interpersonal. Yeah, interpersonal skills. I feel like I try and create bonds with everybody, and everyone honestly puts a big smile on my face every day. Like the girls at the school will definitely attest to that too. Like I always love to see them and just like catching up with them every single day. And I try and do the same thing here every single day. So I feel like they're pretty similar to each other. It's just like a group of 18 to 22-year-olds or a group ranging like all different ages when you come here. So I just feel like it's just another group of buddies that I get to see every day and hang out with and work out with and build relationships
And
with.
Has coaching here helped you develop any skills or helped you?
Sorry, my headphones are falling off. I feel like, yeah, it's made me a little bit more confident, I think. Made me feel like, I also think coming from like field hockey 2 here, I was already like loud screaming, I'm a goalie or was a goalie. So I just kind of have that background in things and already a sports background. So now coming in here, I try and bring that same energy and like things that I would coach them. And now I've learned things here like maybe, I don't know if this makes sense, but I feel like I over explain things that I'm trying to do. And I've been trying to like get back on that a little just because I'm such a talker. You guys can all tell. And I feel like I do that a lot in the field hockey world, working with goalies. So I've tried to make myself more like quick, concise with like when I'm trying to make corrections and stuff here, especially because our classes are only an hour. I can't just sit there and like talk to one person for 15 minutes. See, I just worked like the whole long way around that question there instead of just getting right to it. I'm just a talker. All right, Ant. Question from Ant. Question from Adam to Ant. What caused you to transition from CrossFit Utica to Prime Movement and Performance? What are the pros and cons of each gym from a training perspective?
Well, I think when I first opened a CrossFit gym, we're a 9-year affiliate technically still. So when we opened CrossFit Utica, I really did it because I didn't do it necessarily for the methodology, which is like, the training aspect of it. I did it because, so one of our gym owner from Brooklyn actually just reposted a picture from back when we were at the gym, and the people that were in the picture are still some of my closest friends that I had, that I gained in Brooklyn, and we still talk. Shantae, still one of my closest friends. We talk to each other on a regular basis. Some of the other folks have used to come and visit when we first opened CrossFit Utica from Brooklyn, and they come up. So I think really when I moved back up here from Brooklyn 9 years ago, we didn't have a community of people. I grew up here, but 10 years removed, probably even more, because I went to college, 2001 until 2014. So like almost 14 or 15 years removed from upstate New York. So people knew who I was as like a high school athlete, but nobody knew who I was as an adult, and I didn't have any friends here or different things like that. So when my wife and I moved back up here, we were thinking of ways to, well, one, we didn't have jobs at the time when we were looking. We were trying to find teaching jobs from Brooklyn to upstate, because we're both teachers, and it was really hard to find a job while you were away without being like able to go and see people and go, it was just hard. Nobody was doing like Zoom interviews at that time. So you always had to try to take time off and come up here and different things like that. So we didn't initially have teaching jobs. So we were looking for ways to, one, make a little bit of money, but two, and most importantly, was to find a community of people who we had found in Brooklyn. So that was kind of the first thing. And opening a CrossFit gym, I think initially, it had a really low barrier to entry compared to like a bigger gym or things like that. We found a lease space for like pennies. It was like, I think $700 a month that we paid, which I wish we still paid. And I think I started with like anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 of equipment. And then we started the gym from there. And at the time, Wodify, our system, you paid by the member that you had. So if you had 5 members, you only paid $5 a month. Yeah, it was like $1.25 a member. So it was like, there was a really low kind of like barrier to entry to be a CrossFit gym 10 or 15 years ago. So that was like one of my things that I was interested in. I wanted to do it. I've had a community of people who I loved in Brooklyn who I wanted to try to transplant here in some ways. And CrossFit was the kind of the easiest avenue to do that. Now, the methodology and the training aspect of it, I think we kind of always, and I used to have conversations with Shantae, who was my good friend, who still is, all the time, about how I didn't always believe 100% in the CrossFit, kind of like if you look at CrossFit.com or if you look at certain things. And she used to tell me all the time is that since people don't know what CrossFit is, like if you ask all of our members, like all 150 people with the kids and the adults, not one person would actually know what CrossFit is. So whatever they come into the gym and we tell them what CrossFit is, or whatever they feel like CrossFit is in our gym, that's what CrossFit is to them. Which is why you can go to our gym or another CrossFit or a CrossFit gym or different places, and they all feel uniquely different because it's all the owner's interpretation or whoever writes their programming's interpretation of like what CrossFit actually is. So our interpretation, because I had a background in strength and conditioning and Mike Boyle and all these different things that we talked about last week, our interpretation of CrossFit was very different than a traditional CrossFit gym. We've been doing unilateral work. We've been doing all these different things since the beginning. And we had members quit a while ago because our warm-ups were too long, or we were doing too much unilateral work and we weren't doing quote unquote traditional CrossFit because I didn't always wholeheartedly believe in it. And we still don't, right? And then when we transitioned from that space to our new space, we wanted to be more sports performance oriented. And it was a great opportunity to rebrand and move away from CrossFit. And we still try to every day and move away from that CrossFit ideology. And a lot of the things that we do, you would not find in a traditional CrossFit gym. And many people who've come here and left, gone to their back, people who visit, and Riley can attest to this too. A lot of people who visit from their CrossFit gyms, like, love our workouts way more. People who've moved away and go somewhere else love our workouts way more. And to be honest, and I just was jokingly, a member had just left our gym and went to another competing CrossFit gym, is now coming back. And I was joking with him that all of our coaches and all of our have ranked higher in a local qualifier than all of the people at the quote unquote CrossFit gym. But we don't do traditional CrossFit. So how is it that we can beat everybody in CrossFit but not do traditional CrossFit?
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense, because CrossFit is more of like a competitive thing. And I don't think, like Riley, we were talking about before, like, how do you handle like not going hard all the time or whatever that ebbs and flows of the programming. And I think when you train in a traditional CrossFit gym, it's like you're competing all the time and you just can't sustain that, and people get burnt out from that. So having that ebb and flow, and then having like continually making progress, and a lot of the things that we do, like, you can't do muscle ups every day. You can't do these like dynamic kipping motions all the time. You can't do all this stuff and like these dynamic Olympic lifts. Like, as you get older, like, your joints just get wrecked. So the training part of it has been kind of always underlying theme, whether we've been CrossFit Utica or whether we've been Prime Movement Performance. So that the programming part of it hasn't changed a ton. Just as we've gotten more equipment and more space and more sleds and more things like that, we've been able to incorporate more of kind of what was in my heart all along, to kind of find this middle ground between CrossFit and boot camp that we kind of live in. We live in this white space in the middle. So, and I think that's where we continue to thrive in, where people learn the barbell movements, they learn them safely, but then we don't beat them up like a traditional CrossFit would do, and then have people, constantly injured, having to get surgery from things, and having that cycle of like, yeah, you get better and you do these things, but then you get hurt, and then you try to compete and you get hurt. So I don't want to see people getting hurt all the time trying to do things that they're not ready for, because all of those elements, whether it's the Olympic lifting, the high level gymnastics movements or whatever, all require a ton of like prerequisite strength, stability, mobility, flexibility, that a lot of folks don't come in with. And if you try to like just throw a workout on the board, some people, specifically like guys, will feel bad that they can't do that thing, and they're going to try to do it at all costs, whether or not, they care if they get hurt or not. That was a really long answer.
Yeah, I've never heard you say some of those things, so it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I actually have 2 questions.
2 follow-up questions.
That. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, just because I'm wondering now that you just said all that.
Yeah.
When you made the switch from Utica, what was it?
CrossFit Utica.
CrossFit Utica to Prime. Were you doing like athlete groups and stuff there? Was it strictly like CrossFit gym there?
So let me backtrack even further. The first business I ever owned was Prime Performance in Brooklyn. And I sublet it out of our space, and I trained athletes in the gym, in the CrossFit gym that I worked at in Brooklyn. We would take space in the summertime, kind of like we do here, and take downtime in the gym, and I would train athletes there. So that was the first. So Prime Performance. So Prime Performance has existed longer than anything else.
Yeah, I did not know that.
And then when we were at CrossFit Utica, we only had like a 900 square foot space, which was like the size of our lobby right now, that we used to train people out of. And then we were in the summertime, we would like take the rowers, they would be in the driveway or the parking lot where we would able to do different things, because we could take the rowers out or take the bikes out, and they would be we would do all that stuff outside to give us more square footage. And so we would still do athletes, but we couldn't do it the way we do it now, because we just didn't have the space. So we only did them in the summertime.
So that's like another reason the shift from like that gym to this gym is with the idea of like wanting to be able to, what's the word? Like implicate that back into like your business plan a little bit. You've never been there in person, but Riley has. My idea of like what I wanted my gym to look like from day one was Mike Boyle's strength facility. And we
because we do things differently, but the way that they have it structured, the way it was laid out, like that was always in my head about like what I wanted it to look like and be like. So we're kind of close now, but we don't follow his model either. So we have our kind of our own version of that. But when his trainers came here to teach us the thing, they were like, "Oh, you guys got everything. You know, this is a great facility." You know, like they were putting us up on like a pedestal in terms of like the way the gym looks, the way the gym feels, the equipment we have, all that kind of stuff. And they train there every day. So
interesting. And then how did you come up with Prime Movement and Performance?
I don't know. I think at the time I had a couple different ideas when I was in Brooklyn. It was just like Prime Performance. It kind of flowed well. Like everything, I love alliterations, like things that have like the same letter and they always kind of flow well. And it just made sense at the time. I don't remember exactly how I came up with it, but I think I had a couple of different ideas and I threw them out to a couple of friends at the time. And it was like a consensus that everyone liked Prime Performance the best.
Interesting.
I mean, Prime, if you look it up, it's like the best, the pinnacle. You know, Optimus Prime is the best.
Find your Prime.
Find your Prime. You know, all these different things. Like Prime, it means a lot of things. So it just helps in that way too.
And just some silly ones here now to wrap us up after all of that like fun, serious talk that we've had.
That was the longest like QA answer. Sorry.
No, it was good though. I liked it. We have 2 from Val, our brand ambassador.
Brand ambassador Val.
1, she wants to know how she can get her paws on one of those Prime water bottles.
So the Prime Yetis, which I almost put it out here today. Those are gifts for winning different prizes and awards for stuff. Last time we did them for filling out the survey, right?
And cardio challenge.
And the cardio challenge. So they got a chance to earn those as a potential gift or a prize for something. So that's how we do that. So the next time we have something, she better just go real hard and win that. Yeah,
so keep doing what you're doing. You've been at all the bowling stuff and things like that. So just keep firing it up. Why are you shaking your head? Didn't someone... Oh no, you didn't win anything.
No, you didn't win
that was
anything.
just that was just talking rights.
If you win more things at game night, you got to win every game at every game.
All right, if you win every game, Aunt just said it. If you win every game at every game on game night, you might be able to have the opportunity to win one of those Prime water bottles. Yeah. She also, she didn't write this one in, but she had talked to us about it today. She wants to know how she can have like abs, 6-pack, literally beach body by Memorial Day weekend.
By Memorial Day weekend? How long is that from now?
Like 2 months. 2 months.
Yeah, like a solid 8 weeks. I think these questions are always tricky when people talk about like trying to lose a significant amount of weight or trying to get abs or trying to get certain things. And I think what we really have to look at is, again, going back to your nutrition, different things like that. And I do feel that some people are just like kind of predisposed to looking a certain way or having a certain body shape or certain things. And I think for some of us to have like defined abs, it would take so much work that it wouldn't be fun to live that life. The amount of sacrifice you would have to make yourself have abs, not speaking directly to you, Val, but just in general, certain people, to have abs, you would have to sacrifice so much from your social and like just mental health to be able to have abs. And to be able to do those things, you might have to like not eat sugar ever again, no carbs, no this, like really be restrictive on your eating or takeout or alcohol. Like there's so many things, like the cost. I think I shared this with everyone a while ago from Precision Nutrition, the cost of getting lean. And I could reshare that. But if you just Google that from Precision Nutrition, there's like an infographic about like what it takes to go from certain percent body fats to another. And I think certain folks, again, are going to be kind of predispositioned. Like just an example, when I was playing college football, a lot of guys, especially the lineman guys, because those guys are traditionally like bigger guys, like they all would like, how do we look like you? You know, like they wanted to look like me because I was like, I'm in the middle. I'm what we call a mesomorph. Right, there's 3 different body types: endomorphs, ectomorphs, and mesomorphs. So endomorphs are a little bit more round. They gain fat and muscle together, more like offensive linemen in the NFL. I might be mixing up the ecto and endo, but one of them is super lean, like stick figure type people who have a tough time. They're hard gainers, right? They have a tough time getting bigger, getting stronger, and they're super lean. And the mesomorph is kind of in the middle, the person who's like super athletic. Like Riley and I are both kind of mesomorphs, like athletic body types, naturally stronger, naturally more muscular. And just the way that we look is kind of like predisposed in a certain thing. And we can go either way depending on how we consume food and exercise and things like that. So I think if you look at your body type, certain things, based off of which one of those three categories you fit into would change like how much work it would take to get visible abs. Like that one category that's a super stick figured person, they have abs all the time and they can't gain weight or get stronger. And then vice versa, the other one is the opposite. They gain weight looking at a French fry and they have a tough time losing weight. So just figuring out what type of body type you are and then like what works well for each of those things. Again, that's something you could probably look through. Precision Nutrition has a lot of information on that. So if you look up body types in Precision Nutrition, they kind of talk about the different ways and different diets for each kind of body type. We are in like the 50-minute range right now, just so you know.
I know we've just been chatting it up today.
I was tired and I'm losing my voice.
I know.
We can stop the queue. We can keep those for next time. You can't answer every question.
No,
think we're
I was
done.
just gonna say the other ones are
They're
a little.
little-
So I'll put up a
Wrap
new
it
thing
up.
and they can ask some new ones next week.
Oh, okay.
But that was good. I liked that. I liked that little bit at the end. Maybe I'll put like what topic we'll talk about next week and like see if they can write in like questions about that topic that they want answered or something.
Yeah, and probably just do like 3 to 5 of them because otherwise, as you can see, I can get going on them. Riley's here yawning.
Are we that
exhausted.
boring?
I'm
Yeah.
tired.
Sponsored by Stride Coffee. We need more caffeine because Riley can't keep her eyes open. I think that's it, folks. Glad you stayed here the whole time.
I actually really liked the song that played before the podcast. You don't have that on your other one.
Because this
It's
is a
different.
prime podcast.
I know it got me going. I was like in my car like this,
Rocking out.
doing
I'm
a little
at my
shoulder tap.
prime. I'm at my prime.
Did you write it yourself?
No, I forgot who did it. All right, so
Until next Saturday.
Hold on, we have to get a good snap, so it might take us a few times to make sure that it gets a really loud snap in the microphone.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, that wasn't together.
My hands are a little sweaty.
Let's just do one mic, just one mic. 1, 2, 3.
I have too much Vaseline on
My hands are really sweaty.
my.
All right, we gotta do the other hand, the non-Vaseline hand. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was
That
good.
was good.
All right,
I can only snap with one hand. Really?
until next time.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Look, Brad, I really gotta